happy Lisa is here. You do such fantastic work and really roll up your sleeves and dig into topics that need really careful examination. It's hard to do that in the current media landscape. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you. I feel so lucky to be able to do it. Thank you.
And as we know, on Our America, you delve into a whole host of really, I guess, predominantly social issues and I guess trends. Tell us a little bit about how you decide what topics you're going to tackle.
Well, I mean, there's no shortage of stories in this country, and we are constantly combing through media, and a lot of the stories that we actually produce are stories that come from ordinary people. I mean, we always have our senses on alert for things and trends that are happening in this country, so that's the way a lot of our stories come to us.
Give us some examples of things that you're doing.
So this is our last season of Our America that's starting tonight, and we do a show about the explosion of ADHD diagnoses in this country amongst kids. We do a story about the city that's had the most gun violence over the last few years. We do a show about women who've been held captive against their will for long periods of time. So really meaty topics. And the great thing is that people have been really responding well to them. I think there is a desire to know about things that are happening in our country and in our world, and I've always believed that we are more evolved as people the more we know about each other.
I totally agree. I know your premiere episode is fascinating. It's called Fighting Satan.
Yes.
And it's about something that is called demonic expulsion.
Yes, it's about the deliverance movement in this country, and actually it's a movement that has spread around the world. A huge number of Americans believe that the devil exists and is operating in our minds and in our culture today, and through prayer and through practice, one can expel those demons from oneself and each other. And it was, let's just say, a fairly shocking sight to behold.
Yeah, sounds very uncomfortable.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you're focusing now on foster care, and you, as we said, had unprecedented access. What did you learn about the system?
We had unprecedented access into the system in Los Angeles, which is by far the biggest system in the country. And you know, there's such a stigma attached to the system and also kids who grow up in the system. And the thing that I learned about the system in Los Angeles is that, number one, it's massive, and it operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And these social workers are on alert to extract or deal with kids that may be in a dangerous situation. So we spent time with social workers who would go out in the middle of the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. As soon as a call comes in that a child may be in danger, a social worker will be dispatched. And it's those social workers who have to make this excruciating decision to decide whether to take a child out of their home. And it's a really powerful show about this system that is just on all the time.
And they're overworked and underpaid and underappreciated, so I'm glad that you're focusing some on them. But why are there so many foster kids? When I say almost 500,000.
It's a massive number. So parental neglect, abuse, anytime there could be a child that is in danger, a system will then assume responsibility of that child. And this episode sort of shows us what happens when a system takes responsibility of a child.
I know that you profile many different scenarios, Lisa, and one is a mom who's desperately trying to get her kids back, but they're more or less trapped in the system.
That's a story that we don't hear enough about, that it just takes one mistake, one error for a child to be taken away from a parent. And in many cases, if that child or children are removed from a parent's care, it could take months, sometimes even more than a year or more, to get that child back. And in Los Angeles County, like I'm sure many counties around the country, a parent has to really work hard to get their child back. So that includes taking regular classes, meeting with the social workers with regularity, having social workers come into the home to make sure that it is the safest environment for a child.
It's all such a delicate balance, because conversely, you have situations where children really should be taken out of homes and put in foster care, but because there's such a premium on keeping the families intact, sometimes they're left there and are in very dangerous situations. So it's such a,
family
it's a
preservation
judgment call,
has been,
right?
family preservation, or keeping the children with parents, has been sort of the goal of the system in LA County. But last year, there was a young boy who was killed by his mother after social workers had visited the home and left the boy with the mother. And so the system is now completely on alert. But what that means is that caseloads have increased exponentially, and there just aren't enough foster parents right now to take kids in.
How can the system encourage more families to take these kids in? Because that's really sort of the crux of the problem, isn't it? We have all these kids who need care, who need to be in a family setting, and just not enough families who are willing to step up to the plate.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to do this episode, because there is such an urgent need for people who are willing to open up their homes. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time.
It's very demanding.
Yeah, and the monies that they receive from the system is really fairly insignificant in comparison to what it takes to raise a child. But there really is a need, and I want people to know that these kids are in the system not because of any fault of their own. Something that their parents did propelled them to be in the system, and these kids are traumatized. I mean, even though they might be in an abusive situation, think about what happens to them psychologically when they're removed from the only home that they've known and essentially put into the system where they're bounced around from facility to home to possibly group home. I mean, it's really traumatizing, and they just need loving people who would be willing to take them in.